Welcome back. Welcome back. Another season's grades video. This will be number 3 out of 20. We're going to try and get every single team's season's grade up before the play-in next Tuesday at the time of recording this. You're seeing this on Wednesday or Thursday or Wednesday, one of the 2 days. But we're here with the Dallas Mavericks this week or today. And wow, am I fumbling this intro. Let's just go right into it. Fuck it. For the Mavs, starting off, MVP Luka, A+. I think this is the best season we've ever seen him play. I think the team success, I would argue, is better than the year that they made the conference finals run. I think this team is possibly a 4 seed in the Western Conference, especially after their start. This team post-trade deadline looks amazing, and I think it's a lot to do with Luka on both ends of the floor. He's top 10 in isolation defense, so when people target him and he gets switched onto the ball, he's top 10 defending that, which is, he's very high in that, so your percentages are going to be a little bit better. But I just think for a guy that's averaging 34, 9, and 10, and you're not going to win the MVP according to sports books is quite frankly insane. And this is what happens when you build a team around Luka and Kyrie that fits. This is what happens. But A+ from us.
That was the main point I was going to make, that it's not about really how he's playing. He's played like this his whole career. Obviously, some numbers are a little bit inflated. He's playing superb basketball. But this is what you're going to get out of a guy like that when you put the pieces around him that he needs to succeed. A guy like that flourishes in the correct system, and as much as he'll do his thing by himself, like, you need surrounding pieces that fit together in order to put up a historic season like this, which he's doing. And in my opinion, he's a clear favorite MVP. Absolutely clear favorite.
That's what you also need to win on the highest level. Take a look at Denver, and I think that Dallas has that depth, and they have the functionality amongst all those players. And Luka being the leader on as many fronts as he is while he's on the floor and off the floor for those cats, I think it definitely shows he's deserving of this A+ for real.
Yeah. Moving on to, according to Luka, Batman, Kyrie Irving. For me, I'm a Cavs fan. This is the best basketball I've seen Kyrie play since the 2016
Don't do that.
finals.
Don't do that.
I think just as a group, this team is humming, and I think it's a lot to do with how Luka and Kyrie have attacked the season as a whole. I just think that Kyrie has been able to adapt his game similar to how we saw him play with LeBron back in his Cavs days, where you can still get 25, 27 a night while also being able to create for others and play off the ball. And like when he's in with the second unit, just really command everything. And I think that's what deserves an A. Kyrie Irving with an A from us this for the season so far.
Don't do that, by the way, because the second season he had on the Nets was his best career season in totality. So let's talk about that another day.
I test.
Talk about that another day. But he's been exceptional. He's been a great veteran. He's been setting the tone on offense, making hustle plays on defense as well, scoring the ball, providing clutch buckets. And like Matt said, the most important at the end of the day, he's creating for guys as well. He's drawing doubles, and guys know how to play around him, and they seem to be gelling really well. And take him off the team and they're fucked, so he deserves an A.
Fact. And I think that his energy of, focus, just with everything that goes on the court shows his leadership and how he has that veteran presence, but his specific veteran presence that is able to captivate any moment by drawing so much attention to him and his offensive game that, one, you cannot stop. He's either going to score or find someone to score. And I think it's his grade is also well deserved.
Yeah,
let me throw one thing out real quick just before we move on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Matthew. This is my favorite player in the NBA. One of the most misunderstood guys in the NBA. And I just want to put it out there that I'm glad he's in an organization that's treating him well. It may not be mine, but the flack, not only from the fans and the media that he took from the Brooklyn Nets organization is disgraceful. And I'm embarrassed about it on a daily basis. So I'm really happy to see him flourishing.
Yeah, I saw a clip, or maybe it was when I watched the whole thing, but when Mark Cuban was talking to Draymond on his pod, He was saying how when they were debating trading for Kyrie, he asked around previous coaches, teammates, yada, yada. And he was saying how the only bad thing people have said about him is the media attention and all that stuff. And he goes, dude, I've been dealing with the media my entire life. I can handle the fucking media. And so you get everything else that comes with Kyrie, the person, the player, everything. And he's just now being a vet, just picks his spots so well on the court where it's impossible to guard, especially when you have a top 3 player in the game in Luka. But
thanks a lot, Josiah, my mortal enemy.
Moving on to Tim Hardaway Jr., I'm giving him a B. Coming into this without doing a little research, I was going to give him a B+, but I looked deeper into his numbers. His field goal percentage is at a little over 40%, which I just don't really love. I'm a guy that likes efficiency. I just am. But it's always been that way, and he's still averaging 15, and he's given you what you want from your sixth man. Pretty consistent scoring across the board, while also having the opportunity to give you splash games. And I have in my notes that come playoff time, they're going to need a game or two where Tim Hardaway gives you 20, 25 points in every series for them to really compete and win a title like I think they really do, or they really can. And as long as he has that going for him, he's going to get a B from me. And I think his expectations I think he's played above his expectations. I think expectations are a C. If you get a C, that's your expectation coming into the season. You didn't really wow anyone. And I think he's done enough in spurts and in moments to catapult him up to a B.
He's done a great job of shooting off the catch. He's done a great job of providing them with spacing. Good quality minutes off the bench, obviously. He was our 6th man of the year at one point. I don't know where we all stand on that right now.
I think he's still the favorite, but I will double check.
I got Malik Monk.
But he's also a guy who Kings. He's also a guy who can create at the end of the day. Now, he's not someone you want with the ball in his hands a lot, but he's having a Lou Will-esque year. He's playing great ball. Haven't seen him.
He's not the favorite. Yeah. Naz Reid and Malik Monk are basically tied.
Well, Naz Reid absolutely deserves that award, so I hope he gets it.
Yeah, he dropped 31 and 11 last night, I'm pretty sure, against the Lakers.
Anytime they let the dog off the leash, he runs fast. You know what they say.
But no, I mean, Tim Hardaway, B, nothing too crazy. Moving on to one of the new additions from the trade deadline, Daniel Gafford. I'm only grading this based on what I've seen from the Mavericks while he's been on the Mavericks. And I think he was a really good player in Washington too, but I'm giving him a B+. I think he's been remarkable for them. I think if you ask me to put a big on the Mavericks, I think he is the prototypical one. Everyone gets caught up in this 5 out. You need a stretch 5 big, especially with a guy like a Luka. You don't. You need a guy that's going to consistently put the ball in the basket when asked to do so. He averages 75% from the floor this year. Think about that. 75%. It's ridiculous. And I honestly I haven't checked, but I don't think there's a game where he shot under 60. So you're getting high, like, I don't want to say like all-star quality, but like high quality role playing starting center minutes from Daniel Gafford. And he's a lob threat. He can shot block. He's in the right place at the right time. You just know what you're getting. And I think that's so important, especially for championship teams, that your teams that have championship aspirations. And I think he's just been the model of consistency for them. And I think it's improved so much for the Mavericks as a whole.
A good comp that I've made before on this show is the Harden-Clax connect, where you have a guy who can shoot, obviously, so he's a perimeter threat, but he's slashing a lot of the time for that floater, getting to the rim. And if you get a guy, like if you have him on the block and Luka's on the left block and Luka's on the left wing, say he rejects a screen or he beats his guy, whatever it may be, and you have Gafford come and replace on the baseline to the other block, then his guy has to come help. And the floater, same way as Harden, it looks so similar to that lob pass that it's the Capella effect. All you gotta do is be there to touch it in. And he does a great job with getting in and out of the paint and like replacing blocks,
positioning, all that stuff.
Flashing. And he's a good screener too. He's an underrated screener.
Yeah. It's something important. A lot of bigs just don't connect on screens. Like, it's a simple thing, and it's partly a guard issue where they just go too wide and guys can just fight over.
Gotta get that shoulder in their hip.
But you just gotta be like, it's one of the more underrated things. But
it's a fact. I think his game speaks for him, for itself, especially this season being added to the Mavericks. Cleanup guy, gonna be as efficient as they come, and clean up on the glass. Offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds. That's exactly what they need to be able to kick out to a Tim who may need to have a big game. Whatever in whatever series and whatever it may come down to. So shout out Daniel Gafford, really fulfilling his position. I think that
He's also really young. I didn't realize how young he was. He's in his
24.
4th or 5th year. Like, it's wild. Moving on to the other trade deadline acquisition, PJ Washington. I'm giving him a B. I don't think he's been this unbelievably great upgrade over Grant Williams. I think he's been an upgrade. I don't think it's as drastic as a lot of people make it out to be, but I just think the fit has meshed really well, really quickly. And I think that's the most important thing. I think the Mavericks and both of those guys, Gafford and Washington, got guys that blend easily into the system that the Mavericks run. And I think his defensive effort and rebounding have been something that's kind of gone underrated league-wide, or like fans around the league. PJ Washington's rebounding really well for his position and size, and he's also giving the Mavericks that ability to switch 1 through 5 or 1 through 4 and also space out to the corner or come up on the wing and be able to create for yourself. Just being able to be multiple offensively and defensively is so important, and I think PJ Washington does that.
That's an absolute fact. And I'll say we just did the Celtics. Check that video out. And we mentioned Derek White being, one of the arguably the number 1 3-and-D guy, which is what any team could use. But in regards to that category of style of player and what those types of players provide for their team, I definitely think PJ Washington definitely fits in that category. And can get a bucket, can knock down the open 3 if you feed it to him, get a rebound, like you said, make the best plays, make the winning play, help make the winning play and hold the team down.
Yeah. Moving on to Deron Jones Jr. I'm giving him a B+. I think that he has been a guy that's kind of bounced around, really only known for dunking, and he just went and kind of put all that to bed. He's shooting a career high from behind the arc, and he's just been really locked in defensively, where I think that at times he can get beat or become lackadaisical, or however you say that word. But it's something that the Mavericks needed. They needed one of those wings similar to a PJ Washington who can switch 1 through 4 and hold their own pretty consistently, while also being able to spot up and just be a constant threat for the lob, because Deron Jones Jr. is also a great cutter. If you watch any of the Mavericks games, there's a ton of cuts from the slot or the baseline that he does that just lead to lobs or easy finishes for him. And he just rotates really well offensively, that I think he deserves a B+, because he's a guy that could have been out of the league pretty shortly if he didn't have a really good season. And I think he's having that for the Mavericks, and he's found a home.
That's a fact.
He's been big impact player for them. If you watch the actual games, like it's not a ton of volume of shots he's taking or plays that he's involved in, but also you need guys on your team that are exclamation point plays guys, whether it's like to stop a big run or to get the crowd going or something. And he's a great asset for something like that.
That's a fact. He can do it with a dunk. He can do it with a shot. He can do it with a steal, defense, great defense. He reminds me of a Malik Monk-esque player, just in regards to being able to step into the game at any moment and provide that impact. Like you said, be able to come in clutch, make a big time play, whether it be on defense, offense, in transition in a lot of those cases. So shout out to Deron Jones Jr. for real.
Yeah, and then moving on to the last guy we have on this list, I know there's other players that gotten minutes for them, but these I think are the top 7 guys in my opinion. Derek Lively. I'm giving him a B. I didn't want to put him in the A or B+ area just because he's a rookie, and I think he's had a tremendous year. I just think that you're a rookie, you can't really go. I think he exceeded everyone's expectations. I just don't know if it was drastic enough to put him in the A category, but he is. When the Mavericks drafted him, we said that he was going to be perfect for them. A 7-footer who can rebound, block shots on rotations, and finish lobs at a good clip. And that's all you need a guy on this team to do. And between him and Daniel Gafford, you're getting 46 out of 48 minutes of high quality role-playing center play.
Energy guy. Bounces around. Little ball of lightning, dude. I like his game a lot. You're good, Toa.
I was just gonna say fundamental. I've been big on Derek Lively. He is, I would say, in my top 5 rookies of his class, of this class. And it really steps up to play and really brings that energy that they need. That continues to hold the rest of the function, just like Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Dante Exum, Tim Hardaway, Kyrie, Luka, the whole squad. They have a chemistry. You can tell that they are close and they hold each other accountable, and they all take responsibility for their role, and that's what makes them so dangerous. That's what makes them look like they're gonna have a deep run this season, and I'm excited to see how they end up.
Yeah, but that's it for the Mavericks season.
Dallas.
Just think about this. This team wasn't in the playoffs or play-in last year, and we got them going.
The moves they needed to make.
And we got them possibly going in the finals, but it's wild. But like, comment, subscribe, and stick around. T-Wolves coming out soon.